Okay, here's the little video about the dreaded thesis statement. But let me review just a bit for you first. Titles, introductions, and thesis statements are the way that you engage with your reader and try to capture the reader's attention. These are tried and true techniques that have been in place for hundreds of years, and they allow you, the writer, to guide and direct the conversation. Remember, it's your paper. You're in control. The reader's not in control. The reader is listening, but it's your logical case for your position that is driving this piece, and you are in control of that. And these titles, intros, thesis statements, topic sentences, things like that are the ways that you exercise that direction. So, the thesis statement, as you probably know, is the most important sentence in your entire essay. If you've reviewed the little common errors in thesis statement PowerPoint, you'll understand how it works. But here's some boilerplate. The thesis statement is always at the end of your introduction, the last paragraph of your introduction. The thesis statement is a statement, not a question. And the thesis statement is a statement of a position on your topic for this class. So it has to be those three things. Has to be a statement, has to be a statement of position, has to be a statement, not a question. There's one way that I learned to think about this when I was writing, learning to write, and that is that the thesis statement is like a prism. If you think of it this way, you've got a beam of light coming, and the beam of light passes through your prism, which you have positioned appropriately to catch the beam of light. And then once the beam passes through the prism, then it breaks up into its components. I like that way to think about it. There are other metaphors that you might think of. But if you think about your ideas as a stream of light, and then they're focused and gathered in the prism, and then of your thesis statement, and then they pass through that prism, and then they separate into the individual ideas that are going to support your position on the topic. So because the thesis statement is so incredibly important, and because it's the most important sentence in your essay, and it's important because it gives the reader your promise that you're going to talk about this topic and your position on this topic, and only that. So it limits the discussion, which makes the discussion much more controllable in the end. So that's all I have to say about thesis statements. I understand that a good bit of this should be reviewed for almost all of you, and that's why I'm going through it fairly quickly, and we're spending only a week on it. But please review the little errors in thesis statement PowerPoint, and then there will be an exercise to be uploaded this week, a 75-point little various pieces of an essay that you're going to upload so that I can get an idea of where you are, so that I can know further how to help. Okay, so that's it on thesis statements. Stand by for the next one. Bye.